So nobody's live. I could care less because I'm gonna post this. Instagram is the only one that allows me to download it and put it on YouTube. I'm gonna do TikTok later tonight, or later today, or whenever I fucking care. Um, Today I'm gonna talk about addiction. Ron Strong did a video about addiction and that he wants to become a pastor. Um, I listen to motivational speakers that are a lot like me. I can't listen to motivational speakers that are fake. I can't listen to motivational speakers like just Tony Robbins. I need people in my life that are positive. Like Ron Strong want to be a pastor. John_Rook on TikTok is religious man. He does motivationally speak about God. Ron Strong does motivationally speak about working out, lifting weights, becoming a pastor, addiction, cartel life, etc. I only follow 2 people on TikTok, in my opinion. I follow everybody back because everybody needs followers. But when it comes to Ron Strong, I pay for that nigga subscription. When it comes to TikTok, John_Rook, I follow that nigga hard every day. I try to see all his raps, and I get along with both of them, even though I haven't met a single one of them in my life. I'm finna go to Arizona one day and record a video with him, and I'm gonna be Fast D 5'6", and it's gonna be 5 separated from the 6. It's not gonna be 56 because that doesn't make any sense. Fast D is who I am. I was born and raised in not Compton, born and raised in Chirac. I grew up on Belder and Kenneth. That was a gang before I joined it. Then the gang closed. Hermosa Park closed with the gang. And Onsky D was the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life. Most secretive nigga, non-alcoholic nigga I've ever seen in my life. His dad was an alcoholic. May he rest in peace. Chief ID used to do 50 kilos a month. May he rest in peace too. YBO Gibio thinks he died of a heart attack. My governor thinks he died of the CPAP machine he never took, and he begged him for like 10 years to fucking do it. I'm on my CPAP machine. I don't talk about other people's private lives. And but he was just giving them good advice. And I know nobody's live right now. Africa's not in the Instagram for some reason. Very few of them are. India is gigantic on it. They're gigantic on TikTok because there's TikTok India. 1.4 billion people. 4,000 a day were dying a long time ago. I don't know what's happening right now with the vaccines. Africa doesn't have any vaccines. Zero vaccines. They have the medication to take every church day, which is 20 cents of American money. So I guess it's $2 to them. And they take that vaccine every week. Terrible. When I become wealthy, first thing I'm going to do is fly them out to Chicago to get vaccinated correctly. And if they want to just spend 1 week here to be Johnson & Johnson, if they want to spend a month here, it'll be hard to do if they have jobs. But if they don't have jobs, I want the whole church from Mbaju to come over here and the whole church from Kenya to come over here at the same time so they can connect with each other. And then once they're vaccinated, I'll go to Africa and chill there. I'm only going to spend a week in Kenya, a week in Uganda, and fuck Cape Town. I don't need that shit. The fuck? White people that don't even give Africa vaccines. No, I ain't got time for that. Now, addiction. Ronald Strong took me onto that train. And in the year 2000 was the last time I was selling cocaine. And the farthest I ever went was an ounce of Perico. And I used to sell that to my friends. And then when I found out they started smoking crack with it, I started getting upset because I ain't trying to kill my friends with crack. And, addiction, you're basically trying to kill your friends and family with addiction. Guns, you niggas and spics are trying to kill each other with guns. 2 things. If y'all got rid of drug dealing, y'all got rid of the guns, Chirac would be perfect. Instead of you open up small businesses like a grocery store, or you open a liquor store instead of the Chinese, or instead of the Asians, instead of the Muslims, the Koreans, like, stop that bullshit. Open up a liquor store your damn self. You know what I mean? If you don't want to be a pastor, like me, I don't want to be a pastor. I'm not going to be a rapper pastor. I'm not going to be an actor rapper pastor. I'm not going to be a motivational speaker pastor. That's just not in my blood. Jesus Christ is on my left arm till I die. God, I beg thee, bless me with the supreme power to direct my thoughts, control my emotions, and ordain my destiny. That's what my tattoo says. I always look away when I'm thinking. And, looking at my face is kind of distracting. I'm not going to date online. I already told y'all to just give up on that bullshit. I live in Chicago, Illinois. Millions of women here. Literally millions. Probably 5 to 6 million in Illinois. And it's usually 50-50. Now, if you're not motivationally speaking as a woman, you're dumb, deaf, and blind. Women, in my opinion, would be the best motivational speakers that exist. Not men. Men just think with their fucking heart on. And that's it. They think with their brain or their religion. Women think about all those things, including their pussy and their asshole and their fucking tongue and their dick sucking tactics and, they're fucking freaks. So I was dating this one freak in the mortgage company. She lied to me about fucking one of the other loan officers first. She never told me that secret. And then she even smacked the shit out of him one time, and then he smacked her back after she broke up with me. So I didn't do shit. And to that nigga, you don't do shit to it anyway. Because he was connected like a motherfucker. And, unless someone in my whole family assassinated, you don't do that shit. And I don't think he would assassinate my family. I think we would have just boxed back and forth. And until it got done, and that's it. He's not a trick. That nigga never tricked on his YBO, GBO best friend. So who tricked on him was fucking Tallboy. That motherfucker was a trick. And where he live today, I have no idea. Where the Florida Swins live today, probably all over the United States. Because they can't live in anywhere in the world. They probably travel to different cities and different suburbs and jump from one to the other because they probably left witness protection because they probably got bored with it. And I'm sure they had their billion stashed somewhere buried just like Pablo Escobar did. And those cartel members that lost when they died, rest in pieces, naturally their drug money would just come up to the rivers and flood the rivers with money. When I go to Africa, I thought about taking $10,000, but that's 6 figures over there, so I ain't finna do that. I'll take a G with me and that's it. Because, I ain't trying to get robbed out there. And I already told them I'm famous in my building. Half the building knows me by my full name. 3,300 people live here. And I checked that out on the elevator. They're like, oh, my kids watch your TikTok. I'd be like, yo, I be swaying on that TikTok. When I started there, I got 2 banned accounts there, 1 banned YouTube account. And she was like, oh, I don't give a fuck. I swear all the time in front of my kids. I was like, okay. She's like, you trying to date me? I was like, no, I ain't trying to date you. I thought I had a lady back then, this WhatsApp experience with Amelia Johnson. She's a public figure on Instagram. And I should have just looked at her Instagram and found out she had a man. And found out she's 6'3", and that shit don't make any sense for me. And the only reason I believed it is because I picked her up on my Lyft ride and dropped her off from downtown to her hair. So I believed it. I didn't think it was a lie. People in Africa lie to me every day because of poverty. People in Chirac lie to me. People in the United States lie to me. Women pretending to be other women lies to me all the time. They ain't got to be from Africa. I ain't dating online. That's such bullshit. If you don't video chat me and tell me hello, and I say hello in return, and we don't even spend 10 seconds talking to one human being to another, then I don't believe who the fuck you are. Now, being under investigation, I can't believe who the fuck you are anyway, because there's so many FIs around me. And you don't know what FI is then. Thank God for that. Now, addiction, if you niggas would just dump the guns and just dump the crack and the meth and the heroin and the lean, you would fix Chicago, Illinois. But the drugs are legal in the United States so that we can control the population. So they want the blacks and Spics to kill each other, because then this becomes North Mexico with all the Mexican immigrants that are coming through the cartels. And they're bringing Muslims in here too with explosions. So if you don't think that terrorism activity is something the FBI watches, you're dead wrong. If you don't believe they watch niggas doing tax evasion for just selling weed, you're dead wrong about that too. If you don't believe they don't watch the coke and the heroin and the meth and all these niggas that are drug dealers and murderers, they watch them too. And basically they watch the entire country in the United States. And in order for them to go with the CIA to Mexico, for example, like Sicario will teach you that, it's got to be with a domestic organization. I mean, it's got to be with CPD, it's got to be with sheriffs, or it's got to be with the FBI or the DEA. It's usually the FBI. And the reason they do the FBI is because it's the federal government, and it's usually politicians that make hitmen happen in Mexico. Now, if you don't think there's a CIA hit list, you're fucking deaf, dumb, and blind, man. Kill yourself yesterday. If you don't think FBI murdered people, kill yourself yesterday too. If you haven't got $1 million life insurance policy from your insurance agent, by my advice, where you got your auto and your home, your apartment insurance, and you haven't called them yesterday, today, right fucking now, and asked them, yo, put my insurance policy to $1 million. Now, if you don't have a life insurance policy, kill yourself right now, because you're fucking stupid thinking you're bulletproof, thinking you're car accident proof, thinking that it's fucking never gonna happen to you. You're gonna live forever. You're Superman, a Superwoman, Superboy, Supergirl. Okay. Then don't even fucking listen to me. Just delete me right now. Just unfollow my ass, because it don't make no goddamn sense. If you think you're bulletproof, you think you're accident proof, let me wait till one person watch you. And if you think that it's like that, just kill yourself now. I mean, you're gonna die. You're gonna probably live 121 years, which my aunt lived to, in Puerto Rico, smoking cigars and drinking liquor and moonshine, the strong one. So if you think you're gonna live forever, that shit don't happen. If you think you're gonna have the millions of dollars to buy the Tesla chip that goes into your brain, I doubt it. If you think you have $302 million or $311 million to go ahead and get a gigabyte of electricity that can go ahead and control San Francisco, every single house in San Francisco for 6 hours, if you ain't got $300 million, then you're stupid. If you don't got a few $1 million to Tesla your own house, you're stupid. If you don't own a house, meaning you're smart, meaning I'm going to continue to rent and never buy a house. The houses I'm going to buy are for investments, meaning I'm going to buy a 2-flat and rent them out, buy a 3-flat, rent them out, and then buy a 6-flat, rent them out, then buy a 24-unit, rent them out, get loans on all of those houses, then get a 900-unit with other people, investors like Grant Cardone, so I can make 3 to 4% a year. I'm highly intelligent. If you don't know that, you don't know why I do half the things I do. You don't even know why, I threaten to commit murder. You don't even know why I do the things I do. And it's because a lot of reasons, not just because I'm psychotic. And, the fact is I have my governor watch me, So I'm smart and very careful with what I say. And, my Latin King, he retired in 2000 from selling Perico and whatever else he sold. Governor retired as well. I retired as well in the year 2000 because I OD'd. And then I passed out. I didn't pass out. I OD'd in my dad's basement. And when that happened, I collapsed and crawled to the bathroom from the kitchen, smallest apartment ever, 1 bedroom in the basement. And I crawled to the toilet and I tried to throw up, and I tried to throw the Perico out from my nose, and it wouldn't happen. So I knew I was finna die. I couldn't crawl upstairs to tell my father I just OD'd and I'm finna die. I had cocaine all over cocaine packs up to an ounce all over my counter. And I had a marijuana plant there that was growing under my light. But, I wasn't afraid to tell my dad I was dying, but I didn't have no cell phone back in that day. And, cell phones had just coming out. If you don't believe satellite phones have been going on since the 60s and 70s, you're dumb, deaf, and blind. Now, I'm going to continue to call you dumb, deaf, and blind because I'm a motivational speaker, goddammit. And if you want to listen to regular motivational speakers, then go look up Tony Robbins. Go look up Lou Holtz. Go look up Augmentino shit. Go ahead, do that. Go look up all the blacks that do it. Think you got a motivational speaker, MLD, OG, that could rap hotter than you, then try that. Try to be like me. I go on TikTok and I look for rappers and I can't find one nigga that can freestyle against me, and it pisses me the fuck off because they can't do it without swearing. And I can do it without swearing. I practiced that the other day on my TikTok live, which they had a fucking algorithm issue where they couldn't even go ahead and make me download it to YouTube, which upset me. But, I haven't received nothing but $80 from TikTok, and they owe me like 4 to 6 G's. So my bank account got closed by the FBI for life. And my cell phone is still on one of them, except 2 of them, because I haven't paid my bill. I owe $108 to keep it active, but to keep one active just to see if I'm making any illegal phone calls. And, I don't do that. I have honest conversations with my governor. That's it. We talk about football and his mom. That's it. And I tell him, yo, you ain't even got to hear about me because I do all my shit online, so I know you see my shit. You know what I mean? He's like, man, I'm bored with Facebook and Instagram. I be on that shit all the time. He's like, yeah, but I'm on there, nigga. You can check me out when you ever want. He's like, I know. So, I did one Instagram private for just family and friends, and my other Instagram, like this one, finna be promoted as public. My TikTok, I finna remain. My YouTube, I finna remain. My Twitter, I finna remain. My Snapchat, I finna remain. I already hit the limit of all the people I can add as friends. So I gotta continue. I gotta start paying that shit. Got 44 subscribers on YouTube. It stays there. It's probably just family and friends or some shit. Just wants to get my notifications. I asked for my TikTok followers, 1,000 of them, to go ahead and subscribe. I got none. I don't know why. And, the fact is that my life is original. I talked to this one Jewish man, Freemason, and he was like, nigga, you ain't never going to be an actor. You ain't never going to be famous. Go ahead and make an independent film and shit about your life. It'll be boring as hell. I'm like, man, this nigga's right. Fucking Freemason ass. If you don't think I'm going to have Freemason attorneys to fight for my 100% custody against my wife for taking full custody away from his father, you got another thing coming. I'll spend 6 G's to go ahead and go full custody now because she pissed me the fuck off for dating another man and not want to get her family back together. So I told her, even if you're dating and fucking another man, I'll still date you. I didn't even tell her I would fucking remarry you. I said I would date you. The bitch still didn't give a fuck, so fuck her. She's dating a black man. That's on her. So, I ain't racist. So fuck you if you even think that. I'm part black being Puerto Rican. So the only reason I hate blacks for dating my ex-wife is because they're the most unfaithful niggas I know. Hispanics are the second most unfaithful I know. Asians, I don't even fucking know. Muslims, faithful beyond extreme. Of course, they cheat here and there and this and that. All men have dicks. So they cheat on you. 8 to 9 out of 10 cheat on you. 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 cheat on you. Your spouses as well go to massage therapy. They get cleaned in the beginning. They get cleaned at the end. You're never going to fucking catch them. Now, if you buy a phone, an app to go ahead and track your spouse or your significant other, if you're bisexual, you're gay, I could give a fuck. There's my gay cousin with Funky Cow Cafe in Jersey. You be lucky as fuck if that nigga does your wedding. You better pay him 20 G's to even show up to your crib because he's gay and he is extraordinary with decorating weddings. He's extraordinary with decorating anything. His food has to be phenomenal. I can't wait to go to that nigga's restaurant. My dad don't even want to go there because he wear the mask 24/7. He don't even realize it's on his face half the time. He don't believe in a vaccine, just like Aaron Rodgers, who lied about having a vaccine, a football player from Green Bay, the quarterback. And then he got the coronavirus and had to come out with the truth. The government lies to you every day. The FBI will lie to you every day. DEA will lie to you every day. CBD will lie to you every day. Cook County Sheriffs will lie to you every day. Many of our disciples tell you the motherfucking truth to your goddamn face. And if not, if you ask a question, we remain silent. That's why Oscar didn't find out shit from me. That's why KXD didn't find out shit from me. Even though that nigga from KC, I knew I was being investigated. I had a feeling. And I was like, man, I think this nigga F5 right quick, but let me fucking go ahead and holler at this nigga, because he from KC, and I know he got mental disorder. He got post-traumatic stress disorder, no doubt. And, I was over here thinking, I was like, man, this nigga finna die one day, man. He's so stupid. Federal informing on niggas, not everybody like me not finna kill him, because I'm from KC. Not only that, but because I know he got mental disorders. And I do not want to see that nigga rest in peace. I want to see him live forever if he lives in Chicago. So I think he does. And if I bump into him one day, I'm just going to shake up with him and be like, stop with the bullshit. Just shake up with me and walk away, man. This is my phone number. You should know my phone number from way back in the day. Just holler at a nigga, you know what I mean? We smoke weed right now, man. I'm trying to trust you, dog. I ain't going to tell you shit any motherfucking way, man. I can't trust you for shit. So if you want to smoke weed with me one day, that's cool. I refuse to do Lyft, Grubhub, or DoorDash because the FBI would just go ahead and tolerate me. They'll try to make me upset with all the customers, all the restaurants, and try to get me to the point where I want to kill somebody. Like, I understand that. So I'm not going to work for the next 8 months in a regular job. I was thinking about going to a dispensary since I got the weed, marijuana addiction. And I thought about it. I was like, man, they're just going to have pissed off customers at the business. I'm like, I ain't going to do that to the business, man. When I get weed, it's not going to be from anybody I know now, because they did that with the Indian German lady whose apartment number I know. And it's like, they just wanted to go ahead and set her up for tax evasion and set him up for the guns he had, the son, and then go ahead and threaten my life the next day when I texted her for a QP of weed. And QP is legal. That's the only way I was willing to go that far. And I ain't finna do that now. I'm just going to keep it legal 100. I'm just going to get up to 30 grams and that's it. And I even tried to tell Oscar one day with his fake name that you should just get up to 30 grams to get your medical marijuana license and get up to 5 ounces at a time. That's the only weed you should sell. And if you want to go ahead and do those misdemeanors, then get away with it. You know what I mean? Tax evasion, I don't believe is a misdemeanor, but what the fuck? That's what you want to do, then hustle. He talked to me about Berico back in the psych ward. I was like, I can get you an eighth. He was like, you can give me an eighth? I was like, yeah, nigga, you want an eighth off the brick? I'll get that shit for you. And he was like, cool. And he was like, bad. So then we talked to this other federal informant who pretended to be Puerto Rican. This Greek guy that didn't know Spanish. The Mexican, Oscar, didn't know Spanish. They pretended to know Spanish. The Greek one didn't pretend to know Spanish. I think he was Greek and whatever the fuck. The other federal informant for the Series 6 and 63 licensing that I had from Chase Bank, I was top 1 of 10 bankers, so then they had to use that against me as well. Then they had this one guy pretend to be 50 years old with a 4-year mentality and pretend that he got into a fight with the social worker to see if I would go ahead and try to assassinate him for doing that. And I didn't do that. I just knocked on the window so they could save the counselor. I'm highly intelligent. And I'm going to continue to say that because I'm not showing off. The reason I'm highly intelligent is because I know how to get away with things. I know how to be fucking smart. I know how to stay silent. I know how to say shit about my governor. I know how to say shit about my governor, Latin King. I know not to say shit about nobody. No fucking OGs. Now, if you a neutron, mean you got a whole nother fucking issue. Whole different issue. Now, if you're connected neutron to D's and folks and people, then we're having a different conversation. Then I ain't trying to kill you because, I almost tried to kill this Jewish man that's connected. And I wanted to kill his whole family if he called people. And if he called folks, I just wanted to kill him. And, I don't know who he's connected to directly. They try to convince me that I knew fucking... You know what? I'm going to do the honest one. This is the only honest truth I tell about gang life. Since it happened to me in a psych ward, the nigga was like, oh, you talking about the Latin Kings over there on Fullerton and Manheim? I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, nigga, do I look like a Latin King to you? I don't know the fuck Fullerton and Manheim. I don't know shit about that. And he's like, oh, I thought you know Latin Kings. I'm like, nigga, I know OG Latin Kings. I don't know current Latin Kings. And I'm not a goddamn Latin King. So why the fuck you keep bringing that shit up? Why you keep bringing up that name of that nigga? Which is a nickname I ain't going to bring up no more. And, he's a Jewish man that lives somewhere you will never know. And you're not going to know his nickname. And I wanted to assassinate him and his whole family if he called people on me. And he know that. So he could have shot and killed me a long time ago, but I guess he decided not to since I'm a maniac like disciple for real. Because he figured if I kill one disciple, then what am I going to do? Kill all the disciples I'm connected to? That's the entire fucking city of Chicago, Illinois. So it goes from GDs to BDs to SDs to LDs to YLODs to PWs to MLDs, Maniac Lightly Disciple, which is I am for the rest of my life. I got validated a couple of weeks ago to become an MLD again. And, it was between Mobile and Archer Neighbors. And you don't know that I love gangbanging. I love getting violated. I asked some niggas to violate me every day. They wouldn't do it. And they're like, nigga, you supposed to get 3 minutes if you fuck up and do some foul shit. I'm like, nigga, I want a minute every day. They're like, nigga, you psychotic than a motherfucker. I'm like, I don't give a fuck about psychotic than a motherfucker. I'm a silent killer. So for me to go public that I wanted to kill that Jewish man, think about it. Think about it. So that's how psychotic of a motherfucker I am. Because I don't give a fuck about getting caught. That's the problem I have. You're supposed to be a silent killer and get away with shit. But, I was public with that nigga. And, if you got psychotic people in your family that have addiction, you got two major problems. Addiction, drugs are legal in this country. The CIA brings it in. Then gives it to the cartels. The cartel brings it in, allows it to come in through the tunnels. Then allows it to come in through the border. That long border, Texas, Nevada, California, whatever the fuck it is. And, there's a lot of things I do not Google because I refuse to Google it because I don't want to learn it. I refuse to learn about Crips. I refuse to learn about Bloods because they ain't got nothing to do with Chirac. They don't even fit in Cook County. Cook County is so full of blacks and spics that you can't even fit in there. Right now, if you get caught with a gun, they let you out immediately the next day. They make sure to process your prints and get you on file, get your picture, get your gang tattoos on file, and then let you go. That's what the pandemic does. Before that, it was still the same way. You get caught with a gun, you get let out the next day on an I-bond, which means you get let out for $100 or a G. The gun capital here is the murder capital. If you think they could build a wall from Indiana to Illinois, of course they can. They don't do that. If you think they could get the laws changed in Indiana, they don't give a fuck about doing that. If you think they're not trying to change the governor and the mayors of Indiana, they don't give a fuck about that. Indiana has the laws from the 1920s and 30s, so that's how racist Indiana is. If you believe slavery didn't exist, kill yourself yesterday. If you don't believe slavery still exists till today, kill yourself yesterday. It existed in Africa until 1994, slavery. And 1994, how long ago was that? Today's 2021. So, if you can't do math, it's 27 years ago, 30 years ago, 55 years ago, 68 years ago, 100 years ago, 400 years ago, 2,000 years ago, 7,000 years ago, 8,000 years ago. Now, if you don't believe in the Ice Age 10,000 years ago, then you're dumb as hell. If you don't believe that we had fucking gigantic animals here one day, you're dumb as hell. Apparently, you don't go to museums and see dinosaurs. If you don't believe that shit happened about 40, 50, 60 million years ago, you're dumb, deaf, and blind. If you don't believe an asteroid came out and killed every dinosaur on this planet, you're dumb, deaf, and blind. If you don't believe we're only existing as human beings for 7,000 to 8,000 years, because the Ice Age was before that, 2,000 years prior, before that, and 10,000 years ago, you're dumb, deaf, and blind. If you don't believe Jesus Christ's disciples were all liars and they were high on marijuana and drunk off the wine he made, he learned how to make it, which was not a healing power. The burning bush was just on fire. Fire was existed from one person seeing a fire and saying, damn, that shit is traveling from one place to the other. I'm like, can we cook our meat on there? Wait, we could cook our meat on there? Holy shit, how does that work? So let me rub a little piece of wood on another piece of wood and see if I could start it, man. How the fuck did we start it? Then they rubbed it on stone and got it hot, and then they got bushes and little twiglings, and then they got it hot, and they started a fire. That's how fire got born. You're dumb, deaf, and blind. You don't know that. And, I'm going to continue to call you dumb, deaf, and blind because most people I talk to are dumb, deaf, and blind. The niggas that I see on Instagram, niggas, black motherfuckers, hanging out with this woman, this one particular one that goes live all the time. She's like, oh, you got weed, this and that. I don't even know what state they in if it's legal. And she's like, oh, you got straps? She's like, I got a strap. And then I was like, wow, the fuck? Number one, are these people talking about the guns they have? Then they're going ahead and be slick and talk about, oh, I ain't going to show you my gun. Number three, I know they got guns. Number four, I know they got guns from their friends. It's easy as fuck to get guns in Chirac. Easy as fuck to get guns in Chirac. Easy as fuck. And, you know, all I got to do is go to the hood and be like, what's up, man? I got $5. I got a G. What's up? What can I get? And they're like, what you want? That's it. That's how easy it is to go to west side or south side. Now, if I went to the MOD hood, it's 10 times easier for me. I'm on MOD currently since I got violated a couple of weeks ago. And I was an MOD before that, and I'm an MOD to the rest I die. And, you know, what's interesting is somebody wanted to kill me, they're going to have problems with the MODs, they're going to have problems with the Latin Kings, and they're going to have problems with my cartel family in Texas. So I actually hope for that shit to happen one day since I'm suicidal. And, you know, I just want to see that shit happen. And then, you know, for my Texas family to find out, Latin Kings to find out. Latin King know where my chief live. He know where the Jewish man live. My MOD governor know where the Jewish man live. My father know where the Jewish man live. Knows the crib number and everything. And, you know, that nigga was to kill me. He knows he would fucking be assassinated too. And his entire family would be assassinated probably by the cartel. And so I know he ain't trying to kill me, especially a maniac Latin disciple, especially one that's currently a maniac Latin disciple. You know, I can go back to the hood right now, go gang bang. And they were mad I didn't want to throw Latin King down. And they were mad that I didn't want to go ahead and drug deal. And I'm like, nigga, I could teach your kids how to do that shit. He's like, you keep calling them kids. I'm like, because y'all niggas are teenagers. What the fuck? And I know your age, nigga. I'm not governor know where the fuck you live. And so the fuck the Latin Kings, nigga. What the fuck? You want the cartel to find that shit out too? He's like, nah, nigga, you crazy as fuck. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm crazy as fuck. I'm like, I'm psychotic as a motherfucker. We can go to psych ward right now. You want to do that? We could box it out. You could kill me right now because I'm suicidal and shit. And then we'll see what the fuck happens to you and your family. He's like, God damn, nigga, you need to fucking slow down. I'm like, all right, man, cool. I fucking slow down. So then I gang banged for 3 days. And then I said, man, what the fuck am I even doing here? I'm not even drug dealing. This nigga don't even want me to teach the kids how to drug deal and get away with it. So I'm just wasting my time here. These kids ain't listening to a grown-ass OG. So what the fuck am I even doing here? You know, besides becoming chief of this organization, it don't even make no sense because then I'll be a drug dealer empire. So then I'm not interested in drug dealing because crack kills kids, heroin kills kids, and men and women. Methamphetamines does the same thing. If you're in a South American country, it's cocaine residue with rat poison. If you want to go to the west side to get weed, it's spread with rat poison raid. If you want to go to the south side, then they'll go ahead and just have all kind of dynamic shit. You can have the psychedelic weed, you can have the regular weed, you can have the ecstasy weed, you can have the cheap weed. Heroin, the same shit. You want to mix with coke? All right, cool. You want to mix with meth? I mean, you could try that. Made crack, that was probably made in the hood. It's just water and baking soda. I mean, what the fuck? That ain't hard to make. I mean, there's videos on how to make that shit. I mean, you gotta be dumb as hell. You can't make crack. Dumb as fucking hell. And the addiction problem we have here is why we have the gun problem. The addiction problem leads to the gun problem. The gun problem leads to the gang problem. The gang problem leads to the murder rates of the blacks and the Spics in Chirac. I don't talk about New York or West Coast because I ain't from there. I'm from Chirac. I'm still living in Chirac. I'm in the last projects here, O'Hare Pavilion. 3,300 people live here. Half of them know me by my full fucking name. You think I give a fuck? Do I look like I give a fuck that I'm famous in this motherfucker? Now, next year, when I start my PHP life insurance, 2022 be an extraordinary year. Do I look excited about money? I don't even give a fuck about money. I'm going to invest it. I'm going to make millions of dollars. And I'm going to start foundations all around Chicago. I'm going to start with the west side. And then go to the northwest side. Then go to the south side. I'm going to have to call Montana 300 and be like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? You don't want to build foundations and projects? Like, what the fuck? You from the projects, nigga. You know, me and Montana 300 finna have a different conversation because we both folks, we both disciples. So, you know, we have different silent conversations, you know what I mean? And they're finna be like, you don't want projects? All right, fuck it, I'll do it myself. And when I make my millions of dollars, it's gonna take like $30 million to build the foundations I want, the ones that are made out of iron. And it's called out of iron cartridges that they go ahead and transport products on ships. So I want one of those made for the projects, because I want them to feel absolutely protected and not be assassinated. And if they're in an iron project made of iron shipping equipment, then the whole fact is that, I like the way the people watching. Thank you for watching. And I don't mention your name, even if it's unreal name. So I don't mention your location either if I know your location. That's how private I am. I talked to this one nigga from Philadelphia. I was like, oh, you doing beats? I'm like, your one called Catastrophe I could have flowed to. I'm like, where you from? I was trying to see if he's from Chirac. He's like, oh, I'm from Philly, yo. I was like, oh, cool. He was a white dude making like electronic music, but one of his beats were hot. So I was like, fuck it, man. I could flow on your shit. I was like, man, I was thinking about it. I was like, nah, man, I got to keep it in the hood. I got to go to North Avenue, Gravity Studios. I got to keep it right, man. North Avenue, California, that's where I'm from. That's my hood I'm from, California, between Augusta or, to be safe, North Avenue Division in California. Talking about with bands of Rockland Potomac was a Twilight Zone. I'm from the second Twilight Zone, KC to K-Dub. And that's Keystone and Cortland and Keystone and Wabansi. I know the Wallow D Chief from there. I know Red from there. I ain't gonna mention the Wallow Chief's name because he's a Christian today. I know his full fucking name by heart. And I know his phone number by heart. I know how to get connected to him right now. And I'm not gonna be a pastor. I'm a religious man. Jesus Christ gonna stay on my left arm. I'm never gonna LASIK remove that. Only LASIK removal I did was the Maniac Latin Disciple one I had on my back, right side on my back. It's because my idiot self decided to stop gangbanging. And at the age of 18, since I got locked up with weed, the last time that was my last arrest. And the one before that was gang recruitment, which was an ex-felony, because I almost killed this one Puerto Rican dude. And the only reason I killed this one Puerto Rican dude and knew where his crib was and went to the alley and beat the fuck out of him, and I did that myself. He lied to his dad and said I tried to recruit him into a gang. So the police arrested me for that. They tried to arrest me, and it's called gang recruitment, which is an ex-felony. And so anyway, I got locked up for that. Got all that shit expunged. That's why my DNA didn't exist, because my prints didn't exist. And DNA didn't exist like it did today. So the FBI got my fingerprints to get my DNA. They did it about 3 times. They put punching gloves in here, as well as a cassette tape in my cassette tape recorder. I threw that shit away. They ain't got no reason to listen to me. They know damn well if I'm a kill nigga, I'll do that shit public. They know damn well I ain't a silent killer because I don't give a fuck about getting caught. They know damn well I want to be mayor of Chicago. They know damn well I'm finna run for the Senate after that. And they know damn well I'm finna go for president of the United States. Now, MLD, Chicago mayor, Mexican, Puerto Rican, connected to Texas, connected to Latin Kings, and connected to Maniac Latin Disciples. That is the entire city of Chicago. Now, I know who runs City Hall. It's not the speaker, which is the mayor. And one day we're going to have a different conversation, me and that man. And it's going to be like this, and it's going to be like that. And I'm going to be like, I'm like this, and I'm like that. I'm connected to this, and I'm connected to that. And I understand how Chirac run. I know why the guns run. I know why the drugs run. And I know why the population control for the Hispanics and the black exists. I'm like, when I become mayor, I'm going to get projects back up from 30 years ago, from 98. And about 2028, I want foundation started or project started, and I'll pay for it my goddamn self with my PHP life insurance. I'm supposed to be making 6 figures a month. Do I look excited about that money? Fuck no. That money finna leave my hands. It's finna go to real estate investments. It's finna go to stock profiles. It's finna go to cryptocurrency profiles. And it's finna go to the foundations once I make the profit margins that I need to have $30 million to set one up my damn self. And I'm going to tell my father, I'm like, what the fuck? I just made you filthy rich. You better buy the projects with me. And then he going to argue with me and be like, that's your idea. Shit like that, because I'm a project type of nigga. And my dad, that's the last thing he is. He never gangbanged a day in his life. Never did a cigarette, let alone marijuana a day in his life. My cousin, that stupid heroin addict, said that he smoked weed with my dad one day, and my dad snapped. He said, tell him to put it to my fucking face. And my dad don't even swear, I do. And I was like, I bet. So then I knew it was a lie. So, the insane unknown cousin of mine that killed Elaine Eagle, that's folks, he people, and he's a heroin addict, a veteran. He doesn't want to talk to me since I wanted to assassinate the entire family of a Jewish man. And because he don't want to be around that bad attitude, and then if I commit murder, then he's going to be part of the case. So, he's smart because he's been in prison twice, Dixon and East Moline. So He said he ran one of the prisons and this and that, and my governor had a different conversation about that and whatever, man. They said there's a lot of secrets in prison. There's a lot of bullshit too. And my cousin is full of shit. He's a motherfucking liar, so I don't believe he controlled the prison. I believe he's full of shit. You want to get drugs in the prison, it's fucking easy. You just walk in with a skirt, you have it in your panties, they don't even pat you down. Then if you're controlling the prison, you're controlling the security guards. So the security guards just let the bitch go to the back, fuck you, suck you, do whatever the fuck you want. Lube, no lube, don't matter. And give you the ounce of Barico, the ounce of meth, the ounce of heroin, whatever you need. And then they come in every week. And then the way they get the money is through commissary money. If you don't know what that is, Google that shit. Now, addiction and guns and drugs. Put those three things together and understand why this is called Chirac. In 98, they knocked down all the projects. And then after that, 2001 took place. Do not pretend George Bush didn't have nothing to do with 2001. Do not believe the vice president didn't set up that whole thing. Do not believe they didn't kill 4,000 citizens. Do not believe this is dangerous as fuck what I'm saying. When I was at ATA Airlines, I had a married couple downstairs wondering where their fucking family was. I had a taxi driver wondering where his uncle was. And he says, jumping out of the building, like, what's good, what's going on? How do I find my uncle? I was like, man, good luck, it's 9/11. I don't know how you're going to find your uncle. And then he was like, man, this and that, I can't handle it. I'm watching people fly out of the building. I was like, I don't know what's happening. So 2 days later, I knocked over 3 Mexicans, ran them over with my car. And it was just at a stop sign. I was so distracted by the conversations I was having as a customer service agent with ATA Airlines that's now closed. Their headquarters was in Indiana. And they were like the cheap one to take, And everybody loved ATA. To this day, I don't understand why they didn't survive. I don't know if it had anything to do with 2008 or what, but they didn't survive. My airlines would never die. My Southwest would be Northwest because I'm Northwest MOD, that's why. So I would have to trademark that copy line, start an airline, all that shit. That's going to come later. There's a lot of niggas that try to lie to me about Illuminati. I can't tell you the amount of Freemasons I know. And they told me that shit don't work like that. Number one, you got to be 33rd degree Freemason before you even get accepted into the Illuminati. I was like, all right, bet. So when all these Illuminati niggas try to hit me up and I'm not making 6 figures a month and I'm not a public figure, which is part of what you have to do to go ahead and be part of it, then what you don't know is that, the shit happens because this is the murder capital by design. It happened in Compton, happened in Atlanta, happened in Miami, happened in Harlem. Now, the reason they do that is because they have to distribute the population control. That's why it doesn't happen in Iowa, Montana, not 300. Montana, the state, doesn't happen in Connecticut. It doesn't happen in those different states. It happens in the cities, the major cities. And the reason it does that is because they were trying to get rid of all the Cubans that were illegal immigrants into Miami. Then they couldn't stand that the Colombians were coming here from Colombia. And then in California, the reason they did that in Compton is they were trying to get rid of as many blacks and Hispanics as they could because they don't want it to become North Mexico. This will be North Mexico one day, if you don't want to believe that or not. Mexicans love to fuck and to make kids more than blacks. And, if you don't believe you live in North Mexico right now, if you live in the United States watching this, you're dumb, deaf, and blind. That's why the whites are trying to kill as many Hispanics and blacks as they can, so this doesn't become North Mexico or West Africa. And I don't believe it's going to come West Africa. If you look at the analytics and the statistics, we Mexicans replicate more faster than blacks, especially whites. Whites don't replicate like us at all. I'm part Mexican and 3/4 Boricua. Part black being Boricua, and it's a slave and a Taino Indian that got raped by Europeans and brought the slaves to Puerto Rico, had them locked up in cages, and then molested their kids and raped their kids. Yeah, that's what took place. As soon as they can bleed blood, they know they can have babies, so they fucked them like that. They fucked them before they were bleeding. And before they were bleeding, they probably couldn't even get their pussy wet, and that's the sad part. But, European slavery owners don't care about that. If you believe Christopher Columbus discovered America, you're dumb, deaf, and blind because the Indians were here called Native Americans. So how the fuck did Christopher Columbus discover America? How the fuck did he discover Chicago with all the fucking Indian names Chirac has? If you look at all the suburbs, it's mostly fucking Native American names. Now, if you go out throughout the country, like California, it's mostly Mexican names because it used to be Mexico before we stole it from Mexico. They looked at it and said, oh, it's fucking beautiful here. Let's do this from Mexico right quick. So this government that we have is foul. 10 times fouler than me, 100 times fouler than me. You know, me being a murderer doesn't even make any sense because it's like my intention to murder is the same intention that the President Bush had, to kill 4,000 civilians, to then go ahead and make up a bullshit war. Republicans are the only ones that start war. If you notice, Democrats don't do that shit. And they start wars to help our economy. So they got to steal all the oil in Afghanistan, then go to Saddam Hussein and kill him so that we had a fake plan. Kill bin Laden because we had all the drugs, Muslims in those airplanes. We didn't knock down a single airplane from there to the Pentagon, which you know is bullshit. Doesn't make any goddamn sense with the Air Force we have here in all the 50 states. So, you know damn well it was politically motivated. Something dangerous for me to say. I hope I get killed yesterday because I'm suicidal like a motherfucker. My son will miss me, but he'll have a stepdad. She's already dating, so whatever. And she dating a nigga with no kids, and I don't even believe her pussy can make kids no more. Because I know her age, and I know her problems. So, you know, that nigga want to be a stepdad, and go ahead. I doubt they're going to adopt, because she ain't the adopting kind of bitch. She's a fucking, let me steal full custody from my son and my son's dad, and let me take his dad away from him, because that's a great idea. That's a great idea to take the father away from your son. Great idea. That's why I'm going to fight for full custody. Worst thing that can happen is I'll get 50%. And I'll spend 6 figures on that shit. And I will fuck her up with her money. And she'll lose her disability. And she'll want to move to the state she hates. And then I'm going to fight for full custody. And then, and it's not because she's dating. It's because she's a bitch for taking full custody away from me. And she's a bitch for not trying to bring our family back together. She's a bitch for dating a new man as opposed to me. Considering I'm completely changed now. And she knows who I am now. She knows I'm an OG that can kill a motherfucker, and she hates it. And she knows I smoke weed, and she hates that shit too. So my ex-wife is whack as hell. You know, I can't even believe I was with that bitch for so long. And I've been with her since 2001. We experienced 9/11 together. And then I started dating the hottest bitch in the mortgage company. And one of the gangbangers fucked her first. And then she lied to me about fucking and sucking him. And she'll swallow her, so she probably swallowed his semen. And then, you know, I had to then tongue kiss that bitch after that. I didn't even know she fucked dude. And then I saw a dude at YBOGBO's house arrest crib. And I was like, man, I asked the YBOGBO, I was like, man, you think this and the girl was fucking this and that? I was like, man, I think this name had a problem with it. I was like, oh, so I know that's a conversation telling me that he fucked her. So then I started laughing inside. I'm like, this stupid bitch. She a serial monogamist, man. She not a hoe. She a serial monogamist for some reason. And I know her age right now. That bitch is about 50. And, you know, I know she's gaining weight. She's 50. She's probably getting cellulite. She got flat tits. Can't afford her new tits. And got a beautiful ass. And, you know, she love to suck dick. So she got a man every trip. And men love that shit. So if you want your man to be happy, you better be good at sucking dick. And if you don't want your man to be happy, he'll go to massage therapy anyway. 8 out of 9. 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10 of them will do that anyway. Thoughts and super thoughts exist. Instagram models exist. You know, they fuck Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather makes him sign a contract before he fucks him. I'm going to make them do a video with me showing their licenses and the 2 IDs and then the permission to go ahead and fuck me before I fuck anyone when I got money. Because lawsuits happen, what happened to Tupac happened, pretend rape happens, and all this other bullshit. I ain't got time for that. I don't give a fuck about him being locked up. I ain't got time for that. And when you're in MOD, you don't give a fuck about him being locked up. That's the truth. You know, I look away when I'm thinking. You know, it's not like I'm reading something. Ain't shit in my crib. And, you know, I have to think straight when I talk about real sensitive topics. So, if you blacks and spics want to keep your guns, keep them. If you want to continue to sell drugs to your friends and family, fuck it, continue to do that. If you want to go ahead and get incarcerated, then you let El Chapo win. And if you want to continue to get locked up in one felony on top of another, you let the mayor win. You let the real person that runs the mayor win, and then you're just losing. So you want to go ahead and sell drugs to your friends and family and cause heroin addicts, call meth addicts, call lean addicts, call cokeheads, call crackheads, and whatever other drugs are out there that are legal here. Then, this is not Oregon. Chirac will never be Oregon, where it's legal to do anything and go to rehab. You get caught with any kind of crack, any kind of weed, any kind of heroin, any kind of anything. Chirac will never do that because they love to control the murder capital. Oregon is not a murder capital. Over here, they're trying to get as many blacks and Hispanics dead as possible legally. So they want the kids to kill the kids. And they want the kids to kill uncles and aunts and babies. So they can control this from becoming black Chicago or Hispanic Chicago. Whites are racist as fuck. If you don't believe that, you're dumb, deaf, and blind. Kill yourself yesterday. If you don't get $1 million life insurance policy from your insurance agent and not me from PHP Life Insurance, just commit suicide because you're finna die any fucking way. You don't believe a car accident finna kill you. You don't believe a gunshot can kill you. You don't believe anything can kill you. You don't believe a serial killer could come up to you and stab you in your fucking neck. You don't believe a nigga like me could shoot you in the fucking face. You disrespect me, then you don't know shit. Now, the problem is that, I'm going to be a psychotic mayor. And I believe that the president of the United States should be a psychotic mayor. I don't believe it should be a lawyer because there's this thing called law firms. And I don't think you should be a Harvard graduate, part of Illuminati, which is something I could join once I'm making 6 figures and a public figure. But I refuse to join Illuminati. I hate that shit. I'm never going to be a pastor because I'm not that type of nigga. And Ron Strong want to be a pastor, good for him. I'm a religious man, and I'll remain religious man. I'm going to keep the devil on my right and Jesus Christ on my left. And I don't got a devil tattoo. I'm never going to do that because I don't need it. I'm the devil myself. And if you don't believe the military are serial killers, then, kiss the person from Afghanistan and Iraq. And then say you're sorry for not knowing they were trained to commit murder. I was never trained to commit murder. I was trained martial arts. I was trained how to control knives the expert way and the guns the expert way. So, fuck with me yesterday. That shit'll be fun for you. And besides my Mexican family, the cartel family in Texas, besides my Latin King left side, besides my governor MOD on the right side, have fun with that. And besides the MODs that I'm part of right now, have fun with that too. Now, talking about being an OG could be difficult, but when I don't control. When I have the side of 5 and the side of 6 on me, then I'm going to be Fast D 5'6". I'm not going to be Cardi B. She a blood. I'm going to be Cardi. Hell no, I'll be MOD 5'6". You know what I mean? I'm going to be MOD the rest of my life. I'm not going to be joining Latin King until the chief pisses me off one day. I'll tell him I'm going to start a war. I'm going to get volleyed by Latin King and start a war with the MODs. You want to fuck with me? And he's like, God damn, you crazy as fuck. I'm like, I try to tell you that shit. You ain't listening to a nigga. I'm like, when you OG, you crazy as fuck. That's how that shit work. And you don't talk about other OGs. You hear me talk about other OGs? Never. You don't hear me say shit about OGs. Other than the truth, that nigga's a governor. Other than the truth, he been locked up. And that's it. You don't hear me say shit. In case the nigga in here was in here, I had a feeling he was an F5. I was right. Oscar, when I was being investigated in the psych ward, and he kept bringing up the nickname of that Jewish man, I was like, I'm like, this sounds suspicious than a motherfucker. So I'm like, I don't know if I could trust this nigga. So I didn't trust him. And then when the nigga got knocked the fuck out, the social worker, I was like, let me call the people. We're not supposed to touch them. That's what the rules are here. So let me go ahead and call the people to protect this nigga. It ain't my fault he got hit by a retarded man. And the reason I call him retards because I don't call retards, real retards. He was an actor, a phenomenal one. And FIs, professional liars, they're professionally trained by the FBI to be professional liars. That's why they're liars. They never took a shit in my crib because they were afraid to get locked up in the bathroom with a killer. When the Casey nigga woke up after being alone from my crib, he didn't say shit to me when I went to the bathroom. He disappeared. And then I texted him and asked him if he was straight. I knew who the fuck he was. And I asked him if he was straight. He was like, yeah, I'm straight. I'm good in the hood, blah, blah, this and that. I'm like, all right, cool. Because I know what the fuck is going on. That's how smart I am. So I knew I've been getting investigated since the psych ward. And I knew I was being investigated because my stepfather told me my stepsister was going for the FBI. So I knew I was under investigation hard. As soon as I went public that I was going to kill a man and then kill his whole family, I know I was going to be investigated. And, you know, it's 9 months to a year. For me, it's definitely going to be a year. My stepsister, unless she gets hired, you know, it's probably not going to happen until then. And, you know, the Jewish man that I had threatened, I had texted him one day. I'm like, man, run from the FBI. And he's like, nigga, they're investigating you, not me. I was like, okay. That's all I said was okay. And then he called me a fake MOD and made me upset because I'm connected to this entire building. And who told me that was Oscar, the fake nigga. He was like, oh, he called you a fake MOD, and then I lost it. I just completely lost it. I went online again and said, you call me a fake fucking MOD, you call me a fake fucking MOD, nigga, I'm going to see you right now, this and that. So I know he knew I was going to try to kill him. And I know he knows I know where he lived. So then he came to my crib and went on the buzzer. And the buzzer doesn't show you the apartment you live in. It shows you a fake apartment. And he know that shit. And then he's like, nigga, I don't even know you live. And I felt like saying some certain things, but since I was on the phone, I didn't say a lot of things. And in private, I don't say a lot of things. I don't say a lot of things to myself because I know I'm being recorded right now. And I don't got to be a cell phone. They got technology me and you will never even understand from 30 to 40 years from now. If you don't watch the YouTube videos that I research with the technology that exists, that's the technology that is public. The technology that is private is what the FBI has. You will never know the technology they have. You don't know how they're listening to me right now. It's not just a cell phone tapping. This is not the 80s. You know what I mean? Oh, God. You have no idea what they have. And neither do I. There is no YouTube video about what the FBI technology has. There is no FBI video that tells you the truth about what the FBI does. There is nobody stupid enough to say about anything if they ever worked for the FBI. Because their Federal Bureau of Investigation is the government. You don't fuck with the government. You want to fuck with the government and get incarcerated, that's up to you. You want to sell weed and get tax evasion, go ahead. I think it's a felony. I don't Google that either. And I don't Google social media because I love learning social media the hard way. Like when I do Instagram Live, like I don't even know how to get rid of these comments. And I thought I waved to you. I think I didn't. And so, you know, when I'm the mayor of Chicago, it makes a whole lot of sense. Because if I'm connected to the folks and the people, besides my Texas family, it makes a lot of sense for me to be the mayor of Chicago. Now, for me to get a Senate in Congress, they'll be like, oh, he ain't even got a college degree, and I'm going to snap at whoever says that to me. I'm going to tell them, 26 seconds remaining. What the fuck? That's something new. How long was this live? This shit's counting off. 16, 15. Learning something new. I didn't know that shit was going to expire. I'm going to wait till that shit happens and see what the fuck happens. Why the fuck is this expiring?